There, welcome back to Let's Get Cooking. I'm Rashida. Thanks for stopping by my kitchen today. Today I wanted to show you how to make some fall pumpkin bars. These are a nice yummy treat for the fall season. And if you don't like pumpkin, you're welcome to substitute it with sweet potato. They have a little bit of cinnamon, a little spice, and everything is nice. They're easy, they're quick, and they're delicious. Grab your apron, come on in the kitchen, and let's get ready to bake. In today's recipe, I'll be using 100% pure pumpkin, dark brown sugar, white sugar, flour, butter, cream cheese, whole milk, 3 eggs, some vegetable oil, some cinnamon and different spices, baking powder, baking soda. Let's get ready to cook. Let's get ready to bake. Okay, to start, I want to go ahead and take my 2 cups of flour. Put them in a bowl. So to my flour, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Usually comes in a little white can. And I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Usually comes in the orange box. And then a little bit of salt. And I'm going to go ahead and whisk that together. So to the flour mixture, we have flour, baking powder, baking soda. We're going to go ahead and add 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. That's our largest amount of spice, is the cinnamon. Then I want to go ahead and add in some allspice, to which I'm only adding in 1/4 teaspoon. So it's a very small amount of the allspice. And I'm going to also add in some ginger. And I'm only adding in 1/4 teaspoon of ginger. And lastly, I'm going to add in 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. And here's 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Those are all the spices, the yummy spices, the fall spices that are going to go ahead and flavor up the pumpkin bars. And then I just like to whisk those together. You see how the flour went from that pure white to now has a little brown glow. Alright, so we take our dry ingredients, set those aside, and now we're going to start on the wet ingredients. I'm going to start off by mixing in my 3 eggs, one at a time. You want 3 large eggs, and preferably at room temperature, because everything at room temperature just makes your baking dish taste better. Whatever it is, if you're baking a cake, you want everything at room temperature. Room temperature eggs, cream, milk, butter, whatever it is you're using. So we want to take 3 eggs, then I'm going to take 1/4 cup of milk, and this is whole milk for this recipe because you want all the fat to go into and flavor up the pumpkin bars. So I'm using whole milk, preferably. You can still always use 2% or 1%, but to get that full flavor, whole milk works perfectly. To my eggs and milk, the wet ingredients, I'm going to add in 2. I'm just eyeing that. 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And I'm going to go ahead and just whisk those together. So to my eggs, my milk, now I'm adding in the brown sugar and white sugar. It was a cup of dark brown sugar and a 1/4 cup of white sugar. Now I'm going to start off mixing with the whisk, but then I'm going to go to my handheld mixer just to make sure everything is mixed and incorporated completely. And then at this point, we're going to add in the pumpkin. And you don't want a pumpkin pie filling. You always want this 100% pure pumpkin. And we're using the whole can. If you decide to substitute the pumpkin for sweet potato, you want to go ahead and bake your sweet potatoes in the oven, I would say on 350 for about an hour till they're completely soft. And you want to use about 2 cups of pumpkin. No, you want to use 2 cups of sweet potatoes. So now I'm going to go ahead and mix this. Let's see how the whisk does. The whisk is okay. There you go. That's not bad at all. Can you see that? So these are the wet ingredients. The eggs, the milk, the pumpkin. And to this, I do need to add in 2/3 of a cup of oil. I'm just using vegetable oil, 2/3 of a cup of oil, because that's what's going to make the bars moist. Now I could have added those early. I could have added the oil earlier with the milk and eggs, but I forgot. So there goes our pumpkin mix. There goes the wet ingredients. Now I'm going to add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. And as you see, I didn't even have to use the hand mixer. The whisk worked just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and mix a little bit of the dry ingredients at a time, just so I'm not wearing all that flour. And of course, this is going to thicken up the batter. Oh my goodness, if you guys could smell it, it smells so good. It smells like fall. You have a little bit of cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, ginger, allspice. Those are your fall seasonings right there. And there you have it. This is the batter for our pumpkin bars. See how simple that was? That may have taken 5, no longer than 10 minutes to mix everything up. Voila. So I'm going to take my batter, and I'm going to go ahead and bake it, like I said, in a sheet pan, or actually maybe a half a sheet. We don't want them to be thick because they're bars. So now that my batter is done, I'm going to go ahead and get my half sheet tray, and I'm going to bake these bars on that tray for about 30 or 40 minutes. Alright, so to my cookie sheet, I'm going to spray it with some baking spray. Make sure that these bars do not stick. Now another way to make sure if you're making these for company or anything, to make sure they don't stick, you can use parchment paper and just lay it on the bottom. And then put your batter on the parchment paper and it'll always come out perfectly fine. Alright, I just sprayed my cookie sheet. This is a basic cookie sheet. I'm not sure if it's a half sheet. I think it might be a half sheet, but let's just say this is a cookie sheet. I have greased the cookie sheet. And now I am ready to spread. Okay, I've greased the cookie sheet. Now I'm ready to spread the pumpkin bar batter on the sheet. And I'm going to just spread it out evenly. But you don't, because they're bars, I'm not making a cake, I'm making pumpkin bars. So we just spread this out, get it to every corner. Okay, so I'm spreading my batter to fill up this cookie sheet. And these bars are not meant to be thick. They're like just nice little thin bites. So it's not overwhelming. It's not like a big slice of cake. But it's like a nice, just like a nice treat. Not overpowering, not too much. Want to make sure the batter is even in every corner. Alright, my batter is ready to go in the oven. It'll be out in 30-40 minutes. Stand by and we'll check it out when it's ready. Okay, here we are, out the oven, fresh out the oven. What are those little marks, you ask? That's me making sure it was done. I just put a knife in it, cut through it in 4 different places, just to make sure that the knife came out dry and not wet, and that's how you know whatever you baked is complete. It's time to make the cream cheese frosting, and we're gonna take, or should I say, for the cream cheese frosting, I'm gonna take 1 package of cream cheese, and hopefully when you're making frosting using cream cheese and butter, always leave it out and let it get to room temperature before you use it. So that can be the night before, or maybe 4 or 5 hours before you're gonna make your frosting. So I'm doing 1 stick of butter, which is a 1/2 cup, and 1 package or 8 ounces of a block of cream cheese. And I'm gonna go ahead and mix those together. I guess they haven't been sitting out long enough. A couple hours. That's why you want them at room temperature, so they'll mix. They'll mix better and they'll mix fast. To my butter and cream cheese, I'm going to go ahead and add 3 cups of powdered sugar, about a 1/2 cup at a time. I'm using the wrong bowl. I should have been using a deeper bowl. This is my favorite this is one of my favorite frostings. Cream cheese frosting is good on whatever goes on, especially red velvet cupcakes. Okay, I'm almost there. Just gonna empty the rest of this powdered sugar. And I'm gonna mix this. We just put vanilla in everything. I'm gonna add about 3 to 4 teaspoons of vanilla. Look, y'all. That is the cream cheese frosting. I don't know if I want to say that's the best part of the pumpkin bar, but it definitely takes it up. It makes it something special. So now I just completed the cream cheese frosting. It's that simple. Butter, cream cheese, powdered sugar, vanilla. And from here, this would be spread onto the bars. And then that's it. Since the icing is done and the pumpkin bar is ready and cooled, I decided to bring you in on the process of frosting. You see how thin the bar is? That's why it's called a bar. Because these are nice little thin bars with icing. And what's great about this recipe, you can make them thicker. You would just need to cook them in a smaller baking dish, and then they'll be thicker, and that's probably good too. But in order to make them go a long way, because I'm taking them to work, I decided to make them just a little thin so everybody will get a nice taste. So this way I can serve more, is what I'm saying. Alright, let's just spread the cream cheese on the pumpkin bar. Alright, y'all, my pumpkin bars are complete. My pumpkin bar is complete. I'm going to go ahead and cut this into little squares, little sections. And I'll take a picture and then you'll see it then. Thanks for coming in the kitchen. Thanks for baking with me. Today we made a fall pumpkin bar with cream cheese frosting. The tip for next time is that next time I will definitely make it in a smaller baking dish. So that'll be a little thicker. But this is fine. This is going to work. And this is just a little treat. Alright, until next time, have a blessed day and a blessed week. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.